The people that I meet as a digital marketer, they often tell me that the most stressful part of their work is the cycles of feast and famine. So sometimes you'll have a ton of work and you're super stressed out because you've got so much to do. And then sometimes you'll be super stressed out because there's no work and you end up offering mad discounts or doing kind of panic marketing. And both parts of that cycle are super stressful. So I wanted to create a little video today about the feast and famine cycles and what you can do to break that cycle. So when I started out in business, I really wanted to focus on doing the work that I love doing, design work, meeting people, being creative, putting strategies together. Well, I quite quickly realized that when you get busy, sometimes you drop the ball on your marketing, and that has an impact 3, 6, 9 months down the road. So I had to get super organized about consistently showing up, consistently filling the pipeline with leads and clients so that I didn't have those zero income months, those super stressful zero income months. So let me just share my screen. So what we want is more feast, less famine. And that's the key to getting a consistent, scalable income. And I'm talking specifically for service-based businesses. So I talk about scalable also. So if you're working to a certain income level, ideally, if like compared to if you had a salary job, your income would increase, your salary would increase over time. And I think as a solo business owner, you should factor that in as well. As you move through your life, your income should be going up. And that's what I mean when I talk about a scalable income. So I've got 5 points for you today. The first of which is to know your numbers. This was a big learning curve for me when I first got into looking at my numbers. I was never really somebody who was accounts orientated or even just looking at the bank account part of things or balancing things out. Early on in my business, I was just like working as hard as I could and hoping for the best. And actually, that's not enough. Working really hard and being meaningful and intentional, that's all good stuff, but you really have to be looking at the numbers. It still gives me a pain in the guts when I think about it. So knowing your numbers is all about tracking your leads and tracking your income. So tracking your leads is, well, how many people do I need to meet this month in order to convert them to the number of clients that I need to pay my most comfortable income? So looking at that in a structured way, how much do I need to earn this month? How many clients do I need to enroll to hit that number? What am I selling to them? How many people are coming through that pipeline? And how long does it usually take to get paid? So knowing those numbers, knowing what's coming next month, the month after, and the month after that, it's a real kind of safety net, and it's a real security blanket that shows you that you don't have to be in those famine moments. Yes, there will be big months and small months in terms of income, but if you know what's coming along the line, the pipeline, it's a security blanket. And it's quite comforting to know that, well, maybe this month was low, but I know that these people are paying me next month and the month after. So the next part of it is to feed the pipeline. Even at your busiest times, you need to be doing at least a little bit of marketing. Because if you are so busy that you do zero visibility, zero marketing, zero following up with past clients, you're going to find yourself in one of those famine months, maybe more than one. So if you're completely offline, on a break, or for some reason that you can't be online, you need to find some way of showing up, like some kind of automation or some kind of paid advertising. That means that you don't have to be there and then showing up on social media, mailing list, YouTube, whatever it is that you do for visibility. So constantly feeding the pipeline is part of your job. Delivering your service is what you got in this for, but in order to serve the people that you want to serve, you need to be showing up for them and they need to know that you're there. The next thing is to be all about one thing. So this makes your marketing super easy. Some people call it your core messaging or your signature services. But when you show up online, the best way to be memorable is to always speak to one problem to transformation service. You could have multiple versions of services or layers of or tiers, but when you're showing up with your online content or your advertising, promotions, content, whatever it is, You always need to be speaking to one area. And there's a way of doing this that doesn't get boring. It sounds like always say the same thing. That's not what it is, but always be speaking to aspects of the same problem to transformation service, the one that you are willing and able to offer. So showing up online and always talking to the same problem, always speaking to the same solution that people want, that's going to make you super memorable, and people are going to think of you when they need to solve that problem. So changing too often, and this happens with when you pivot or when you level up your service. If you change too often, your audience kind of gets confused, like, well, what's she doing now? Or wasn't she the person who did this and now she's doing that? So the confused mind doesn't buy. This is something that I think it's Donald Miller from the Story Brand, the author of Story Brand. The confused mind doesn't buy. So if you're showing up saying random things all the time and offering different services every 6 months, people are going to get confused, and that leads to low conversion because they're not really sure what you do. So the next one is to have a backup fund. So this is the least sexy of all of these. It's not very exciting and it's kind of nerve-wracking. Well, like, I don't have a backup fund, but this is something that you can build over time. So this is something that I would never pivot or make huge changes in my business without some kind of runway or backup fund. Because when you start changing or evolving or changing your ideal client or any kind of big change in your business, you need to have a backup fund, because a pivot or a change can sometimes have a longer impact than you realize. So having a fund that you kind of feed over time will allow you to make big changes in your business, because you've got a little bit of a cushion for 3 to even 6 months, so that you are not in panic marketing mode and you feel like you have to go backwards instead of making the changes in your business that you really want. I hope that makes sense. But for example, with the pandemic, some people were unable to work. Some people had like the busiest time ever, but a lot of people kind of took a hit in their business during the pandemic because they couldn't commit to work for childcare reasons, for family reasons. But if you had this kind of safety net, that panic marketing doesn't kick in, or you get to focus on the things that you need to focus on in your life. So this is less digital marketing, more just, I've been there and had the panic, to have that backup fund. And that's something that you should start feeding into like almost as soon as you start your business. And the last one is to know your limits. So feast and famine generally happens when the pipeline has gone dry. All about the pipeline. If you constantly feel like you're running out of time, or I don't have time to do marketing, I don't have time to do content, I don't have time to do networking. If you feel like you constantly have no time, it's possible that you're maybe over delivering for your clients. You're getting stuck in fulfillment for clients. Maybe you're over promising, over delivering, or just setting unrealistic deadlines for yourself and for your projects. So this is an aspect of just be kind to yourself, be realistic with deadlines, be realistic with the amount of time it takes to serve your clients, or the time it takes for you to unwind if you're showing up quite a lot. Like introverts kind of need a little bit of time to kind of refill the energy levels if they're doing a lot of online showing up. So be kind to yourself, know your limits. If you're all the time doing client work, that means that you're not doing enough marketing, and 3, 6, 9 months down the line, that's going to have an impact. So there's no one magic formula to get that consistent, scalable income. It's all about planning, implementing, staying as consistent as possible, knowing your limits, and actually creating a strategy that suits you, that's actually feasible for you, that suits your temperament, suits your schedule, and it is actually something that's going to help you to connect with your ideal clients and get paid for the work you love. So that's it for me. If you found this useful, please do hit like and subscribe below and share it with somebody who might find it useful.